Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Inner Creation Collective and our little weekly trainings that we do to really help you become the best version of yourself, to help you become the leader of your own life, to help you become your own best teacher. As I share these teachings, as I share this information, this knowledge, this wisdom, always remember that you are your own best teacher. My name is Bridget, and I'm so happy to be here in this space with you all today. I truly love doing these weekly trainings and just hosting and creating this little community and this little group that we have here. I find it so important, and this is really the time where we are here to come together. We're here to help one another out. So you being in this space means that you are dedicated to that as well. You're dedicated to your own inner evolution, your own inner revolution, and you're also ready to make this life your best life. So welcome. Hey, Melissa, and say hi as you come in. I would love to hear who is with us live. And I'm excited to talk about the 4 agreements today. And if you've read this book, also let me know. I would love to hear your take on this book and how it helped change your life, because it's really one of the most fundamental books in my opinion. Hey, Sarah, welcome. Oh my God, my top wasn't open. All right, real talk. That's what happens. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Before we're going to kind of get into talking about this, let's all just take a moment to kind of tune in, use our breath. So I'd love you, if you're not driving, to just bring your hands onto your knees, sitting up. Even if you're standing, just taking a moment here, closing down your eyes. With your eyes closed, taking the first moment here to just smile. You showed up. You were here for yourself. And then just take a couple deep breaths, breathing in and breathing out. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. And I welcome you to bring your hands to your heart. Take a moment to set an intention for this conversation this morning or even your day. Let's take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. You can open your eyes, shake out the hands. You're knocking your head from side to side. And here we are. Well, welcome. So this morning we're going to be talking about the 4 Agreements, which is a book by Miguel Ruiz. And this book was actually first published in 1997, so it's not really like a new book. But the way that I see these teachings is that they are really fundamental principles for us to be the leaders of our own life. And if you're in this space, you are here and you are dedicated to that. You are on your journey, so you're in the right place. And now Miguel Ruiz is kind of one of the descendants of this ancient Toltec wisdom. The Toltecs were these kind of ancient Mesopotamian people who had teachings, tradition, and wisdom that they shared through the lineage. So like the grandfather would pass these ancient teachings on to the father, to the son, yada, yada. And Don Miguel, the author of this book, is one of those people who carries this wisdom. And what a blessing that he was here to share this wisdom with us all. Because truly this book it's one of those books when you read it and you just go, yes, 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 yes. So I truly feel like that. I actually couldn't find my copy at my house, but I also have this companion book. So if you are interested, this is a great little resource, but I would just start with the regular book first. And he's actually created the 5th agreement too, which I have not read yet. But basically, what are these agreements? He says that we all have agreements with ourselves. And sometimes these agreements, I like to refer to them as like stories or narratives. That's more so how I've talked about this. But that we all have these stories, these narratives, these agreements that might be from society that we've accepted as truth. They might be from our parents, our friends, our family members, social media, news in general. And these are agreements that we have chosen to accept. And he says that most of our agreements that we have with ourselves are not the truth, right? And we can look at this in terms of like our limiting beliefs and all those things that hold us back from the truest expression of ourself, right? Like we all have those things. That's why we're here. We're here to be aware of those things that we have and then transcend and transmute them so that we can continue on. Right? Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Hey, Janie, welcome. So these agreements, the 4 that he has chosen to share are these 4 agreements that the ancient teachers have taught him. Okay, so there's 4. And I would love for you, if you're new to this material, to take out your notebook or like your journal if you brought one. And we're going to go through each one. I would love to have this be an open conversation, me asking you like, hey, how does this impact you in your life? So first, has anyone read this book yet? Is anyone familiar with the 4 agreements? Hi, Priscilla. Let me know in the comments if you are familiar with this book, because I would also love to get like someone else's take. Of course, this is my interpretation of the 4 agreements. So I'd love to hear from you guys if you are new to this book, if you read it before, if it's one of your favorites. Let me know in the comments, because I can work with that too. Okay, so let's dive into this. First of all, hey Janie, and I don't know why the comments are so delayed. Like you probably wrote that like 30 seconds ago and then I finally get it. So hey Janie, welcome. So let's just dive into these. Okay, Janie says, I read it a couple years ago in 2017, I believe. Awesome. Newbie, never read it. Melissa says, awesome. I find for myself that this is one of those books that I can always kind of go back to when I need that like baseline, like that foundation of how to create life. I think it's so important. So number 1 is be impeccable with your word. I'll say it again. Be impeccable with your word. Woo! Now, what does that mean? What does that mean for us in our lives to be impeccable with your word? And this is something that I talk about a lot inside the Soulful Essence Experience, but how we use our words in our life matter. It's called the power of your word. Through your spoken word, you are able to create. You are able to enact your life through your spoken word. Spelling is a spell. And when he's saying be impeccable with your word, he's saying, follow through on the things that you say you're going to do. He's saying, don't use complaining or gossip, because those are your word, but are those helping you? When you go to work and you're starting to gossip about, Betty who's doing X, Y, and Z, is that helping you co-create your reality? No. But we all get stuck in those kind of gossip loops or even just complaining. It's almost like complaining is like you create more complaining when you start complaining. Right? So the power of your word, the way I see it, is one of the easiest things that we can do right now. Like, think about how you speak about yourself. Think about how you speak about your life. How do you speak about your situation? How do you speak about what it is that you want to do in your life? And a little side story, this is something that I struggled with for a while. I've been teaching yoga for about 4 years. And I wanted to kind of move away from just being a yoga teacher. But when people would ask what I do, I would always say, oh, I'm a yoga teacher, and I do some coaching on the side, right? So can you see that with me saying that, I wasn't even allowing the universe to respond to who I want to be. And we all do this in our lives, like all of us, right? When you say who you are, when you say what you want in your life, it really does matter. And when you can shift that narrative, when you can change how you're speaking, how you can be impeccable with your word, you can really change it all. I'm going to read you guys a little quote from this companion book about the power of your word. The word is not just a sound or a written symbol, The word is a force. It is the power you have to express and communicate, to think and thereby create the events in your life. So if we can understand that the power of your word is huge in terms of creating your reality and really vibrating at a certain frequency that you want to vibrate at, that is being impeccable with your word. Like, let's go. Let's all be impeccable with our word. So I would love to ask you right now, anyone who's listening, how do you see this agreement, being impeccable with your word? Is this something that you find challenging? You know, in terms of how you speak about yourself? I would love to hear a little bit of feedback of what this looks like for you, because remember that you are your own best teacher. I'm a channel for information, but you are your own best teacher at the end of the day. So share away, share away. Awesome. Okay, so Priscilla hasn't read it either. I just read that. Amazing. So this is a good place to start. Oh, Janie says, Bridget, I have the 5th agreement as well. I haven't read it yet, though. The books are sitting in front of me now, actually, along with The Mastery of Love, which is also by Don Miguel Ruiz. Yeah, but maybe we should do a book club for the 5th agreement. Janie, you might be psychic. This is something I've thought about for a really, really long time. And it's a post I had written for the Integration Collective. I'm cracking up, and I'm not going to make any rash decisions right now, but you saying that is like, I'm cracking up right now. What are the chances of that? So be on the lookout. I love that idea, Jeannie. And Melissa says vibrating negatively is real. Yeah. And I think that when we can have these foundational agreements, these foundational understandings of how we want to live our life, we can understand that, you know, having a negative thought isn't bad. Like, it's okay. We can have a negative moment. We can have a negative day, right? But the issue is when we stay in that cycle and that cycle becomes our reality. That's when we're getting into some issues, because then that is our reality. We are attracting things that are related to this place that we are vibrating at. So that's when it comes shifting, using your tools, all those tools that you have in your toolbox, your yoga, your meditation, your kundalini yoga. The girls inside Soulful Essence are doing a 40-day kundalini yoga kind of challenge. And that's about consistency. It's about shifting and feeling that shift. So it's so, so true. Chills. How crazy. I love this. This is life. This is the life I live, you know? This is the life I live. Synchronicities everywhere. That's the life all of us really have the ability to live. So number 1 is really one of my favorites, because I think it's very, you know, when we have this awareness of, oh crap, are our words holding us back? Then we're like, all right, I'm going to be intentional. And he says, be impeccable with your word. So today I invite you to be impeccable with your word. When someone asks you a question about who you are, who you want to be in this world, say it with power from this solar plexus chakra, from your heart chakra of who you really are. Because that's why you're here. Amazing. So number 2, don't take anything personally. Don't take anything personally. Let's take a deep breath in for that one. Not always easy, right? Not always easy at all. Don't take anything personally. And I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, which is this spiritual metaphysical text for spiritual transformation and development. And this is one of the basic kind of principles within A Course in Miracles too, is that we can't take anything personally. Now, why can we not take anything personally? Because we have to remember that every single individual, while we are connected, we are all one, we are all individual kind of vibrations of that one. And because we are all individual at the same time of being one, we all have our own unique perception and interpretation of the world. So if someone is judging you and projecting that judgment onto you and making you feel some type of way, we can't take that personally. Now, why can't we take that personally? Because that is their shit that they're projecting on us. So this concept of the mirror and being aware that, you know, what someone else says is not the truth for you. What someone else says about you, if it's a judgment, you know, if it's a compliment, like take it, appreciate, receive that, but you are your own inner authority. And this is a really challenging one to kind of understand, especially when we're dealing with a challenging situation like a breakup, or maybe something's not going well at work and someone is mad at you. You know, hurt people, and that's when that projection can really feel like it's hurting us. Because if we don't have this inner awareness of, okay, that's that person, that's not me, then we're going to get sucked into their reality too. Does that make sense? This one, you know, I love to be super real with everyone, because although I am a teacher and I'm so blessed to be the channel for these wisdoms and these teachings, like I'm so deeply blessed to use my voice and share in this way, I am not immune to feeling these things too. And I like to be very transparent. I am not on a pedestal. I deal with these same exact things, right? Don't take anything personally. There are moments when someone says something, or maybe someone comments on my Instagram and I don't like what they said. And I'm like, oh my God, am I a bad person? Am I a bad human? It happens. So with this one, I'm going to invite you to understand something that Gabby Bernstein teaches. And she teaches what's called the comeback rate. And I find this super helpful, okay? Because it's not saying that, you know, we're not going to get bogged down by taking something personally, right? We can always just do our best to not take it personally. But if that does happen, which it probably will in your life, we're humans, how quickly can you come back to self? How quickly can you come back? How quickly can you come back? And then this becomes a practice that becomes just habitual, right? I've noticed now when I see like an angry driver, or like a person like honking and beeping and super angry, I'm like, oh, God bless them. Because what's going on inside that, right? Right? So I'd love to hear from you guys about not taking anything personally. Like, is this something that you struggle with as well? What does this look like in your life? Yeah, let me know, because we're all in this one together. Water break. Resilience. Yeah, that's what the comeback rate really is. It's honoring that you can always come back to self. And this self, this home frequency, this home vibration is really what I call the soulful essence. And this is that place where you can understand that your truth is love. Everyone's truth is love, but sometimes they've shifted pretty far away from that centered core. But the more and more you practice foundational principles like this, the quicker you'll just come back to self. The quicker you're going to understand how to bring yourself back to this really home, beautiful, beautiful place. And it feels good to be there, I'm going to tell you. So definitely resilience. I love that. I love that. So that is number 2. Woo! Don't take anything personally. I'm going to move on to number 3, if no one has any comments about that. But I see you, I feel you, I love you. We're all in that one together. Number 3 is don't make assumptions. Oh, I needed this live. You're so welcome, Jeannie. Don't make assumptions. And this is something that I've struggled with as well. And I think this is a kind of a cousin of number 2 with don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions because, you know, Don Miguel Ruiz is saying that we have these agreements that we've literally made up in our mind and we're accepting them as truth. So when we make an assumption, it's like we're making an agreement with ourselves that X, Y, and Z is going to happen. His kind of his talk on number 3 with don't make assumptions is to really be clear, concise, and direct, and ask questions in a conversation, in a relationship. Because he's saying that this is where the issues occur. You know, when we are talking to, say it's our partner, and we are making an assumption about how they are thinking, what they are feeling, all these things. And that's just creating more miscommunication, not good communication, right? Not a helpful relationship when we are just making an assumption about what the person is feeling. And this is something I've struggled with because I like to not offend people, and I like to beat around the bush. And what I've been working on lately in the last couple of years is really just saying what I mean, and not kind of going in a roundabout way, and just asking for what I want, right? Because we're making an assumption that X, Y, and Z is happening in our own mind. That is the assumption. And I'm going to read what he says about assumptions. All right. So find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Like, damn. And I want to talk about the whole drama thing. Think about how much drama we create based on our assumption of something. I think back to like high school and being like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I don't even know a good example, but I feel like so many people are making assumptions about what is happening, what someone's feeling, what someone is doing. And we're not actually asking the questions. We're not actually getting to the point. So I think this one's really helpful in any relationship. And this is what really Yogi Bhajan, who brought the teachings of Kundalini to the West, talked about. He was saying that the relationship as a whole is like the highest teaching, because everything is a relay. Everything in our life is a relay. Me and you all talking, we're having a relationship. This is a relationship that we're creating. If I were over here beating around the bush and not actually telling you what I want to talk about, you're going to make assumptions. You might not trust me, all those things. So think about in your daily life, what assumptions are you making about people because you're scared to ask the questions? We're creating agreements because we're scared to ask the questions or tell people what we really think. Damn. Sometimes I'm just channeling this also, so like I need to take a moment to like process what I'm saying. That's really big. Oh my God, Melissa, don't make an ass of you and me. Literally, assumptions make an ass out of you and me. So true. But we've all been there. We've all been that person who doesn't want to say what we really mean because we're scared to maybe find the truth. But that truth is going to help us not make an assumption and not make up some story in our head. Because most of us are living with narratives that we have created that don't serve us, that hold us back from our truth. And he's saying if we can get rid of if we can really work on not making assumptions, we can make massive changes in our life. So I'm loving that. Let's all commit to that one also. I mean, let's commit to all of these, but let's commit to that one too. Beautiful. And number 4, always do your best. Always do your best. And he says that, there's going to be moments and times in our life when doing our best is going to look different, right? So doing our best when we are sick, feeling tired, feeling weak, that's going to be different than doing our best when we are feeling like strong, on fire, on top of the world, right? And he's saying that that's okay. But we just need to do our best in any situation. And then that's when we are really the leaders of our own life. Because when we are not doing our best, that's when we are, it's possible to feel guilt, shame, unworthiness around ourselves. And we're doing that to ourselves. Like it's so funny because we think that other people hurt us, but the narratives and the agreements we have with ourselves that don't serve us are sometimes larger than what other people can do to us. So think about that for a moment. And this brings me to the Yogi Bhajan teaching of keep up and you will be kept up. Like I so believe in that. If we just keep going, if we keep giving our all every single moment of every single day, we will be kept up by a force so much greater than ourselves that we don't even know. You're going to start to ride this wave. And this is that wave of magnetic momentum, right? When you are doing these things every single day to bring you closer to who you want to be, to who you really are, to the things that you want to be doing, to the business you want to create, to the person you want to be. If we keep going and just doing our best every single day, we always have that choice, right? We have the choice if we want to show up on our yoga mat or not. We have the choice if we want to show up on our meditation mat. And I'm not saying it's always going to be easy because like real talk, I don't want to sometimes. So I'm like, dragging myself there. But the moment you sit down and you show up for yourself, that is you doing your best. Just showing up for yourself is you doing your best. And like, I really, really deeply, deeply believe that. Oh, Isabel just joined. Yay! Welcome. So that one is huge. Always do your best. And I think it's a beautiful invitation that he gives us, that doing our best isn't going to look the same every day, and that's okay, right? And even as women, if we are on our cycle and feeling those hormonal waves, it's okay that our best when we are on our first day of our period doesn't look the same as when we're, ovulating and feeling super awesome. That's a conversation for another day. But I think this is a beautiful, beautiful invitation for us just to understand that if we can do our best every single day, we will feel so good inside too. Because it's when we don't do our best that the grief, the shame, the guilt kind of comes in, and we let that take control, or the fear comes in and we let that be the navigator. And that has no room to be the navigator of our lives. No room at all. I'll read you what he says about always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstance, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Like these teachings are just incredible. And that's why I think that they are truly these fundamental principles. Like if we can live from a place where we have these understandings, our lives will transform. And I really call this being the leader of your own life, because you all here who are listening to this live, all of us have that ability. All of us. It's within every single one of us. It's really our birthright. Happiness is our birthright. Joy is our birthright. Being the leader of our life, creating the life that we wish to see. This is all part of our reality, all part of our birthright. And if we can really follow these 4 agreements, I truly, truly believe that we can see massive changes in our life. So exciting. So I'd love to hear from you which one resonates the most. Like which one feels the most exciting for you out of these 4? For me, it's number 1. I love that. I love be impeccable with your word. And I'm going to write in the comments all of them so that if anyone didn't get them, then you can hear. And these are just so simple. Like he's not telling us to do anything like crazy. It's very exciting. All right, so they're all in the comments. And I have one more little thing that I was going to ask us. Actually, we'll save that for another time. I'll end on this note, though. All of what he is saying is these agreements are giving us freedom from limiting beliefs. These are giving us freedom from all of these agreements we have made with ourselves that don't serve us. And if you are listening to this live right now, I know that we all have these limiting beliefs, these agreements we have made with ourselves that are not true. And these agreements are holding us back from who we really are. And who we really are is not far away from who we are in this moment. It's simply about remembering this truth within, this soulful essence, this who you really, really are. And when you can understand what that feels like, this home frequency, this home vibration, you can vibrate the truth, your truth. This is about your own personal sovereignty, your own personal freedom. And you are here to rock this world, especially if you are in this space right now. So this is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely. I'm so grateful we could all spend our Saturday morning really diving into these 4 agreements and how simple they are to transform your life. If you are in the New Jersey area, Janie, I know you're a little far, but if you're in New Jersey, I'm hosting a women's circle next Friday at True Nature Yoga. Actually, it's not just women, it's women, anyone. Hosting a circle next Friday at True Nature Yoga in Jefferson, New Jersey. So let me know if you would like any information. Melissa, I know that you are already signed up, so super excited. I'm so grateful to hold this space for you all. This is one of my gifts, and I've always felt like this. So I'm so, so, so grateful, and I would love to hug you all in person right now. Big hug. All right. Have the most amazing, amazing Saturday, everyone. I will talk to you soon. Lots of love.